So you mean to tell me one of the Democrats' biggest supporters, Jon Stewart, has completely turned his back on Joe Biden? This is something you have to see to believe.
Faith in the rule of law. Finally, Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Breaking news, President Biden has issued a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden.
Mother... We were so close.
That's part-time host of The Daily Show and full-time liberal Jon Stewart preparing to call out Democrats and their establishment media puppets for their hypocrisy over Hunter Biden. Welcome to Nurk News, I'm Nurkish, and Jon Stewart recently made headlines by devoting nearly half of his show to ripping apart the pseudo-moral superiority and elitist grandstanding of Biden, the Democrat Party, and their underlings in establishment media. Here he is starting with the rank-and-file Democrats in Congress like Jamie Raskin.
This is what Biden's decision has done. Look how confident and eloquent our Democratic representatives were back when they thought they had the moral high ground on this issue.
I've not heard a single Democrat anywhere in the country cry fraud, cry fixed, cry rigged, cry kangaroo court. You don't hear a single peep out of any Democrat saying that. Why? We believe in the rule of law.
And now look at what even he, one of the most verbally dexterous attorneys we have on Capitol Hill, has been reduced to.
Do you think President Biden should pardon Hunter Biden?
So there are lots of claims of political prosecution and political.
And was Hunter politically?
Well,
prosecuted?
I mean, obviously that's a judicial point, and then you've got to look at what the evidence is. And I don't know enough
so
about
should the president pardon him?
I mean, again, that is a unilateral executive power that.
And should he use it?
Well, the power exists for the president to show mercy for people.
I mean, we have an executive, and we have a judicial, and then a legislative, and then smoke bomb!
You mean to tell me that guy's one of the best lawyers in the country? You can tell by the way he answered that question, or rather how he did not answer that question. He would have said anything but give a definitive answer on whether Joe Biden should pardon Hunter. Although he probably believes that Joe Biden should because he's a Democrat, but then he would lose his upper hand as the Democrats being the civil, always doing the right thing, always taking the high road. We never argue any election results. We never do this, never do that. Buddy, where were you during 2016? Wasn't Hillary Clinton going off about Russia interference in the election for years? Wasn't there a huge Russiagate that happened for multiple years and then it turned out that there was no evidence whatsoever? I don't know what he was talking about, how the Democrats never fight or never argue. It seems that's all they do.
Wouldn't have any at all. However, we can all admit that politics can be messy, and it's not surprising to see swamp creatures like this talking from both sides of their mouth. But as we all know, it wasn't just politicians like Raskin flip-flopping. It was also members of the objective news media as well.
The problem is the rest of the Democrats made Biden's pledge to not pardon Hunter the foundation of their defense of America, this grand experiment.
One political party remains committed to the rule of law, and the other doesn't.
Hunter Biden's not above the law. No one is above the law. Democrats stand for the rule of law.
Because the justice system that convicted his only surviving son is the same justice system he's vowed to protect. And if that doesn't tell you who Joe Biden is, I don't really know what does.
I think I know what does. And now look at the dance Democrats have to do.
Be honest, the only reason why they went after Hunter the way they did, and I've talked to many federal prosecutors about this, is because he's the president's son.
People have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political witch hunts.
The, crowing from Republicans, but we're talking about, Donald Trump is a convicted felon who literally pardoned his daughter's father-in-law and just made him ambassador to France.
There's a big gap between the law is the only thing that separates us from the animals and the monkey threw shit at me first. I had no choice.
You cannot make this up. The only reason they attacked Hunter Biden is because he's Joe Biden's son? I'm sorry. If you, I, or anyone else in the country had the laptop that Hunter Biden had, we would be serving our entire life in Guantanamo Bay. We would never see the light of day again. Case closed, end of discussion, goodbye. I think what they meant to say is the only reason Hunter Biden is walking free is because of Joe Biden. The double standard they have is straight up amazing, and it's baffling how they can't see it or they refuse to acknowledge it on national TV because it'll make them look bad. If this was Donald Trump's son instead of Joe Biden's, I am convinced they would find some way to connect it to Donald Trump. It's amazing the state that America is in right now, where politics trump the rule of law.
Shred of credibility or integrity, they would be honest enough with themselves to discuss what he's about to bring up. Because frankly, I can't think of a legitimate defense for this that doesn't incriminate Joe Biden, his son, and the entire Democrat Party.
But you know what? Get fine. It's good. It's right. It's his right. He's an 82-year-old man. Doesn't want to spend the rest of his life visiting his son in prison. Republicans get away with this shit all the time. I'm sure the pardon is a narrowly written, precisely drawn farewell note of compassion for a loved one.
The pardon sweeping, covering offenses that Hunter Biden, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in over the past 11 years.
Years is a very specific and not rounded amount of time. So, Hunter, I'll give you a pardon, a few years, 5 years, 10 years. It needs to be 11. And if you would be so kind, make sure this upcoming New Year's Eve is also covered. Pardons could cover crimes you may have committed. I'm surprised Biden didn't include the phrase on Earth 1 or any of the Earths in the multiverse.
As fun as it is to laugh about this stuff, and thankfully we're able to do so because these people are on their way out, it really does go to show you just how corrupt our current system is and how much worse it could have been if Harris had won. I mean, could you imagine the amount of damage she would have done?
Plain and simple, the reason Biden is pardoning his son now, as opposed to months or even years ago, is because Donald Trump won. Donald Trump may or may not have looked into Hunter Biden's case and went after him and prosecuted him. Do you actually think that Kamala Harris, if she had won in November, that she would have went after Hunter Biden? There's not a chance on earth. That's why the Democrats were saying for years, Joe Biden is such an honorable man. He's not even pardoning his son and they're going after him. He shows that the rule of law is more important than family, this and that. They thought Kamala was going to win. They thought that Kamala was going to win and they would never go after Hunter. But then reality set in, Donald Trump got elected, and that sent shivers down these people's spines, and they said, we have no choice but to pardon him, or else Donald Trump is going to get to the bottom of this whole Ukraine thing. And he may or may not find out that the big guy in all of Hunter Biden's emails just so happened to be Joe himself. It just goes to show that even the most staunch Democrat, Jon Stewart, that he is accepting reality. That a lot of these Democrats, they are just straight up hypocrites. They're going to say whatever sounds good on television to make the other side look bad. Why is it a bad or controversial thing to uphold the rule of law? Everyone should get treated equally. That's it. End of story. I don't care if you're Joe Biden's son. I don't care if you're Obama's daughter. It doesn't matter who you are. Just treat everyone the same. That's how our country was founded, and that's the way it should operate from here on out, because it's basic stuff. This is basic common sense stuff. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. Had Joe Biden not pardoned Hunter, do you think that Donald Trump would have went after them? Or do you think he would have let it go to preserve unity within the country? Let me know. I'd love to know your opinions on that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.